The Copper Age has just arrived, and I've already figured out how to employ the Copper Golem to the most efficient item categorizer you've ever seen. That's a nice way of saying I've trapped them in a 1x1 box. Now, before you go and call PETA on me, Copper Golems aren't even animals. They're beep-boop robots.
In my head, it sounds way more like a beep-boop robot, like... beep, beep.
They love this kind of stuff, and so should you. And if you love this incredible sorting system, make sure to let me know in the comments, tap the like button, and, as always, subscribe if you're new. Let's check this thing out. Here it is in all of its glory, the Copper Golem Categorizer. This thing is tiny. It's absolutely tiny. Just as a point of reference, this is my previous categorizer, and this is just a small slice of the entire thing that's in my current survival world. This is huge. As you can see, I've gone through a couple of iterations before I landed on this design. Ignore that and ignore that. I'm in the middle of my concrete factory tutorial that you guys have so kindly asked for. That is coming soon, but I had to pause to play with the Copper Golems because the Copper Age is out, and this is what we've come up with. It's so tiny, and I'm about to blow your mind. This categorizer that fits within a single chunk can categorize over 350 items. Is your mind blown? There are actually 6 Copper Golems hanging out in this little chamber, and I want to demonstrate this for you. I'm going to fill up my inventory with a bunch of random items, and I will drop them in the copper chest at random as well. But just so you can see everything, this is a chest that is sorting out the crafted wood types. So anything that's a plank, a slab, or a stair that's made out of wood should go in here and down into this chest down there. Anything that is a log or a stripped log should go in this chest right here. And then anything that is a stone variety, this isn't all of the stone varieties, but just to give you a sampling of what can be sorted, will go down in here. And all the rest of these chests, except for this one right here, are additional categorizers we can fill up as well. This chest right here, you might notice, is up top and not down below where these other chests are. We'll explain that in a little bit. This is the overflow chest, and it goes to this one right here. So anything that doesn't have a category gets sent to overflow. Now, if I put the items right here into the copper chest, you're going to notice that nothing happens. Well, something did just happen. One of the Copper Golems was already in the chest and grabbed some things from the first stack there. If you're currently using a chest and they're not already in it, they cannot access it. So this will just sit here, and none of the golems will do anything until I close the chest. I'm gonna go ahead and close it, and we should see things start to move pretty quickly. All of the golems are grabbing some items, and one by one, they are gonna start filtering through these different chests until they get to the correct one, which is this one right here. They will not touch this chest until they've gone through all of the categorizer chests first. Again, we'll talk more specifically about that here in a minute, but they are accessing this chest now, and we should see items flowing in through a double hopper system that's picking up through a hopper minecart that's pulling the items out of the chest at 4 times hopper speed. That is absolutely necessary to keep up with the amount of golems. That was the problem with this design, and this design, even with just 4 golems in here, it was breaking the filters. So minecart with hopper, absolutely necessary if you want a super fast copper golem sorting system. And I will also say this is pretty maxed out at 6 golems. I did try this with 8, and it ended up backing up these hoppers. It didn't break the filters, but it backed up the hoppers in a way that it was gonna break the filters at some point. So 6 so far has not backed anything up. You can see all of the filtering is still intact. There is only 1 item stuck in this hopper, and that's normal because this torch is powering this, so it's not going to get out of there until the next item comes through. And then this hopper right here is completely empty, and the items are in this chest right here. In this short amount of time, we've already gone through almost an entire row of items, and as you can see, all the rest of these chests are empty except for the bedrock that I'm using for item filters. The reason I'm using bedrock for item filters in the creative test world is because we will never ever have access to this in a survival setting, and I didn't want to have to go through and rename a bunch of stuff. So bedrock is actually a good way to test this. And look at that, we got some stairs going through. This is it, this is the future. 350 plus items, and if you need more than that, because there are, I think, like close to 1,500 items in the game, if you need to filter through all 1,500, this overflow chest you can use to send the items on to another categorizer, and you can just link multiple brains together, each of which are going to be sorted by 6 copper golems. This is absolutely a game changer for storage. Now that you've seen seen a quick demonstration of how it works, let me show you how to build it. The first and honestly most important part of this tutorial is placing the block where the copper golems are gonna stand. If they're not standing in the right spot, then this is not gonna work. And when I say this is the most important part, it actually does not matter vertically or horizontally where they're at in the world. This is just the starting point. I'm giving myself some space below because obviously I've got some things below that I gotta build. So find a spot and make sure if you're using a slab, which I am, it is the top slab on whatever block they're standing on. From this spot, I'm going to place one block here, and then another block here, and then a copper chest right here, and then I'm gonna make it a double copper chest right there. I want you to take note of the position of this copper chest because it is very important that it's right here, only one block above where they're gonna stand. Copper golems are very short, and they've got very short arms, and their arms can't reach that far. So if you put the copper chest right here, they won't be able to reach it. Copper golems can reach chests that are at this height right here, where they're standing. Then they can reach chests at their foot level, and then they can reach chests at their head level. Other things that you should know as well, if I place something like a piece of glass over the top of this is something you're going to want to think about while you're decorating your builds. If I put a piece of glass over the top of this chest like this, and I have another chest right here, the copper golem will ignore this entirely. But if you break the glass, for some reason, their pathfinding is now able to see this again, so there's some really weird and random mechanics going on with copper golems. This design does not have to worry about that, and I made sure of it, but it's definitely good to know. The next thing that I want to do is place another temporary block right back here, the one that we already broke, and this is where I'm going to put my first chest right here so that it is even with the copper golems. And then I'm going to place another block right here and then place a chest on the other side. Then I can break those two temporary blocks, and I'm going to put one chest in front of each of these and one chest behind each of these as well. Next, I'm going to place a chest directly next to this slab so that it is down one level from the side chests. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And this gives me a total of 8 chests to sort, 350 items. Now, over on my test design, you might notice that there is a gap in between each of these item filters. The way that I've designed this is not stackable. If you try to stack them right next to each other, the redstone signal from the filters could bleed over and break the filter of the neighboring chest. So make sure not to stack them right next to each other. You do need to leave a 1 block gap. In order to accomplish that with 3 chests that are side by side, we're going to filter items from here, filter items from here, filter items from here. Same thing on the opposite side, here, here, and here, and then here and right here. I'm gonna build one of these item filters first because they're all identical, but just take good notes. Pause the video if you need to. From this block directly next to the chest, I'm gonna go down 1 and over 1, so I've got an L shape, and then I'm gonna place a comparator facing out of this block. If you didn't know, a comparator can read the contents of a container through a neighboring block. This right here will not work, but this will. This also will, but it will not work for the design we're creating because of all of the rest of the redstone that has to go with this. So I've got 1 block here after the comparator. I'm gonna go down 1, over 1, over 1, and then down 1 more. So I've got a bit of a cross shape, and I'm gonna poke out the block right in the middle. And then I'm gonna put some redstone here and here, followed by a repeater set to 1 tick of delay with a redstone torch right here. And that redstone torch is powering this block by default. So this block and this torch are going to power whatever is directly next to it, which is going to be a hopper minecart and a hopper. So I'm gonna start by placing 1 hopper here and 1 hopper here, and then I'm gonna go 1 hopper down and 1 hopper down, and then I will break this hopper and break that hopper. You can already see from my texture pack that this hopper is locked. And then I'm gonna grab an activator rail and place it down right here. This has to be an activator rail in order for this to work. I don't know if this is the same on Java or if it's unique to Bedrock, but you can't actually lock the hopper minecart without the activator rail. So if the activator rail is powered, the hopper minecart is locked. If the activator rail becomes unpowered, then the hopper minecart is unlocked and will pull items from the chest. I did say that I was going to build these one at a time, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how to build them right next to each other, because you do need to keep in mind that minecart rails are really annoying to work with. If I place a minecart rail right here, it's going to turn that rail and connect it up. I need it not to do that because I need the minecart to split the difference between this hopper and this hopper, and that's not going to be possible if the rail is turned the wrong direction. So the way to fix that is to place a block right here and a block right here, and then to place a rail here, here, and here, and then a rail here, here, and here. And as long as those two rails are 3 long, I can place a rail right here in the middle, and it will not connect up because this is already connected here, and this is already connected here. Now it is safe to break these, and I can place down my hopper minecarts on all 3. As I mentioned, I do need to split the difference between these 2 hoppers so that the hopper minecart can dump items into both, because it's pulling this stuff at a rapid pace, and I need it to keep up down here at least somewhat to avoid backing up into the chest. And that's where our brand new copper chains come into play. I'm going to place a chain facing upward on top of each of these hoppers, and then I'm just going to go ahead and give the minecart a little push, and it will not go any farther forward than that chain, but it will stay on top of this rail. If this minecart falls off onto the hopper, it loses connectivity with the rail and it will no longer lock the hopper minecart. So this chain will prevent that from happening and keep everything in place where it should be. And that's pretty much it for all of the circuitry. After you've copied that circuit about 7 more times, you should have something that looks like this, and we're almost done. There are a total of 8 categorizers right now as it is, and I'm going to place one chest right here next to this copper chest and extend it to be a double chest, and this is going to be the overflow chest. This chest will always be checked last, no matter what. It does not matter what order these chests are checked in, and honestly the copper golems will probably check them at random, but this one will always be last for this one reason: it is higher than the rest of these chests. Copper golems will first pull items from the copper chest, and they will look at the chests that are closest to them. So it might pull from this one first, but if it goes over here to start looking this direction, it will probably pull from this one first because it's lower. Copper golems work from bottom up, so it will hit this chest and then these chests, and if it happens to hit these 2 chests last, it still doesn't matter because this chest right here is the highest regular chest that's not a copper chest in the configuration, and so it will only ever be checked after all of these have been. That's great because we want this to be overflow to either dump into bulk storage or to connect up with another categorizer system. So I'm going to take a hopper and put it underneath this chest right here, but I'm not going to go down with it because if I go any farther down, this hopper right here is going to get locked. So I'm just going to go forward with it, and this hopper will always remain unlocked, and it will be able to transfer items out away from the categorizer system, which is, I guess, the next thing we should talk about. In my original design from over there, I put chests underneath all of these hoppers for the minecarts to filter down into. This is just for testing purposes, and I'm going to go ahead and break them right now, just to say this should not be your final landing point for any of the items that are sorted in these filters. The sole purpose of this is to get 350 items categorized so that you can put them into individual sections of chests like this, where maybe you'll have unique item filters, or maybe you'll have more copper golem filters, and maybe it's just bulk overflow and you don't care to sort it beyond what's here. Maybe you just want a wood section where all of your wood materials go here. That's totally fine. That part of it is up to you. I do plan on replacing my current storage system with this in my Bedrock Guide world, so I'll be sure to show that off in a future video or a stream or both. But that's pretty much it for the circuitry. There's only a couple things left that we need to do. The first thing is to get the categorizer set up, and in order to do that, I'm gonna grab some more bedrock. When you're actually setting this up in the world, just grab a random item that you have a ton of. A lot of people have a lot of deep slate or cobblestone, things like that. Just rename it to something. You could even call it bedrock, or subscribe to BluJay. Whatever you want to do, just make sure it doesn't match any name of any item that you can get that will be sorted, and then you're going to take that and put them directly into the chest, and it should only take 4 stacks before it finally kicks in, and this will drop down to 51 items. That's the starting point. When you go to grab a category of items, for example, we're going to do planks, only place 1 item at a time into the chest and make sure it is not in the first slot. That's why I left the bedrock here, because we need to know how much bedrock we actually need to make the item filter full. So I'm going to drop 1 plank here. Nothing has happened yet. I'm going to place another plank there, another plank there, another plank there, and then you can see it ticked down rapidly. It dropped 4 items because the hopper minecart quickly pulled 4 items out. And I'm just gonna keep going with this until I have all of the items that I want to sort inside of the chest. Now I'm going to drop this down here, and then I'm going to take a full stack of any of the items that match and put it in the first slot until it ticks down, and that pulled out 2 items from the chest. That's totally fine. We're gonna fix that here in just a second by grabbing all of the items that have dropped into the hopper so far. I'm going to re-add my oak planks and my spruce planks. And because it took both of these out, I need to make sure to remove 2 bedrock from the remaining stack. If I place another full stack of oak planks in here again, it should only drop the full stack and none of the filter items. And it worked perfect. You will need to do that for each type of category based on the number of items that you put in. And I would advise, once you've got the correct number of filters and the correct number of items, to put them all at the end, because you want to give yourself as much space as possible for overflow. Now, with 6 golems and hopper minecart speed, I have not seen any of this fill up. So you could potentially put items all the way up to about here and sort all of this stuff into different categories. I want to leave 1 slot available for each golem in the rare event that they all happen to grab an item that belongs in this chest and they all happen to dump them in at the same time. That's very unlikely to happen, but in the event that it does, I just don't want it to break anything. If you leave the first 6 slots empty and then put items in the rest to filter, that's where we get 350 items from all 8 categorizer chests. The last thing to do is to get the golems in place. I'm gonna place a temporary block here and a temporary block here with a chain right here and a chain right here. Break these 2 blocks, then a temporary block right here, and then a chain here and here. Break those 2 blocks. These 4 chains will keep them in place, but the chains will still allow them to open this chest, this chest, this chest, this chest, this chest, and this chest with no issue. Then the only other place they could potentially escape is right here. And remember what I said about them getting angry if stuff is sitting on top of the chest? They don't really care if there is a slab over the chest and they can't hop up that high. So these chains, these chests, and this slab will all keep the copper golems in place. In order to load them in and make sure that they all drop directly on top of each other, I'm gonna put a piece of glass right here, 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 and here, and then I'm gonna drop the copper golem right here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I haven't had any issues with glass on top of this copper chest because they are directly next to it, but I wouldn't put anything right here. Again, corners are a little bit tricky. Leave that open and they shouldn't have a problem accessing that chest. And that is the entire design. The entire thing is done. 6 copper golems sorting hundreds and hundreds of items. I think this is the craziest and coolest storage system I've ever designed. I don't know how I'm gonna top this. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave them in the comments or join me over on Discord. We've got a lovely community over there with tons of people that are helpful and love to tinker and answer questions about redstone and Minecraft mechanics. Come check it out and hang out with us. And once again, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave me a comment, tap the like button, and subscribe. And I can't finish off this video without saying thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Hope you'll come back, and we'll see you in the next one.